The Dallas Mavericks get their sixth win in their last 7 games, a 110-107 scintillating win over the Boston Celtics. This is the Gray Area right here on Kevin Gray Sports. My name is Kevin Gray. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video by hitting the subscribe button right here for Kevin Gray Sports. Luka Doncic was absolutely spectacular in this basketball game. A game-high 31 points for this Dallas Mavericks basketball team, including 2 absolutely incredible step-back three-pointers, including the game winner with 0.1 seconds left in the fourth quarter to give the Mavs their 6th win in their last 7 games. There was no Kristaps Porzingis in this basketball game for the second straight game, out with lower back stiffness. Maxi Kleber was out due to a left ankle sprain, but Luka Doncic got some help from a terrific Jalen Brunson, who got 16 points, scored 16 of his 22 points in the fourth quarter alone. The captain of the Stay Ready All-Stars, Jalen Brunson, did it once again. I asked Luka Doncic after the game was over with about what it is about these big-time moments that allows him to step up in these clutch situations. Here is what Luka Doncic had to say after the basketball game.
Hey, Luka, what is it about these late-game situations that brings the best out of you and that mentality of wanting the ball and wanting to take that last shot for your team?
I mean, it's just something I've been doing. I try to do, sometimes 2 people go on me, I have to pass it. But sometimes you're gonna miss it, like the last game against Portland, and sometimes you're gonna make it.
So Luka Doncic understanding that the moment is his, taking the big shot, not afraid of the moment, as we saw in the bubble against the Los Angeles Clippers, did so once again, this time in front of 3,300 fans inside the American Airlines Center to give the Mavericks a 110-107 win. They did blow an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Boston Celtics, in a back-and-forth basketball game, went on a 12-0 run to be able to take the lead late in the fourth quarter. But Luka Doncic, against some terrific defense by the Boston Celtics, stepped up and hit 2 massive three-point shots to give the Mavericks another win, especially now that they are back at 15-15 and even 500 after 30 games of the season, as they get ready to head on the road to take on the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. An important win for a Mavericks team that has been dealing with a lot with the Kristaps Porzingis trade rumors starting to swirl around this basketball team. Yes, it's not necessarily a good look that the Dallas Mavericks won their 2nd consecutive game without Luka Doncic in the midst of all of these trade rumors that are starting to fly and surface, especially with the Bleacher Report that you saw about the idea that the Mavericks have been, quote-unquote, sniffing around teams trying to figure out the trade value of one Kristaps Porzingis. But on this night, against a Boston Celtics team that saw Jason Tatum score 28, Jalen Brown score 29, and Kemba Walker 21 of his own, where they combined for 78 of the 107 points that the Boston Celtics score, the Dallas Mavericks were able to get enough stops at the end to be able to set up Luka Doncic with the ability to be able to hit from downtown. I asked Jalen Brunson after the game, who had 16 points in the fourth quarter alone, what was it about his mentality going into that fourth quarter that allowed him to kind of have the terrific performance that he had. Here's what Jalen Brunson had to say after the game.
Hey, JB, congratulations on the win tonight. Obviously, a massive fourth quarter for you, 16 points in that quarter there. Talk about the mentality and going into that fourth quarter and what you were looking to do from an aggressive standpoint to help your team get back into it in the fourth quarter there.
Just trying to make the right play. At those moments, the right play was be aggressive and try and score. Obviously, my teammates found me. James hit me with a great pass at the top of the key. Luka obviously found me a couple times. But just staying aggressive, just trying to find ways to win that game.
So Jalen Brunson staying in that aggressive mindset throughout the fourth quarter, 16 points, was able to hit an array of shots, including a couple of three-pointers that really helped the Dallas Mavericks stem the tide, especially a three that was late in the shot clock. Jalen Brunson, as I mentioned, captain of the Stay Ready All-Stars, a guy who continues to be a constant and steady presence for this Dallas Mavericks basketball team, an important player that has given him the kind of confidence, especially coming off the bench, that allows his team to feel relaxed, to feel comfortable, knowing that when the ball is in Jalen Brunson's hands, he most of the time is going to make the correct decision with the basketball. You also saw contributions from guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., who had 14 points, Josh Richardson, who won the NBA Community Assist Award for the month of February, had 16 points of his own also. Got a lot of effort from a lot of guys on this night. James Johnson, who made the start in place of Maxi Kleber, did a terrific job defensively. He won the Defensive Player of the Game, which, of course, is handed out in wins only for the Dallas Mavericks. So James Johnson, a guy who has been maligned a lot lately, not getting the opportunities to be on the floor at all in recent days and in recent weeks, came up big in this basketball game, especially when you think about the offensive talent that the Boston Celtics have in terms of Jaylen Brown and also Jason Tatum, both of them who were named Eastern Conference All-Star reserves on this evening. So for James Johnson, a confidence boost for him. He came out early and aggressive in the first quarter, looking for his shot, driving the ball to the basket, trying to set a tone from the offensive standpoint for his game to get himself going early on in this basketball game. And as the game was back and forth throughout this game, both teams played well, especially on the defensive end of the floor. At the end of the half, it was 56-55 in terms of the lead for the Boston Celtics. But at the same time, a team in the Dallas Mavericks held the Boston Celtics to 20 points in the third quarter to get themselves back into the basketball game. And then in the third quarter, 31-30, outscoring them. Luka Doncic continuing to rise up in the biggest moments. And this was a huge win, not just for the standpoint of the Dallas Mavericks getting back to 500, but more importantly, they continue to build confidence about winning games late in clutch time. You say, Kevin, well, you saw them blow an 11-point lead when the Boston Celtics went on 12-0 run. Usually in those situations, the Dallas Mavericks fold. But in this particular situation, they used the broad shoulders of their 6'7", 230-pound superstar who is making his second consecutive All-Star game start this year and rode the shoulders of Luka Doncic and put the team on his back, Dick Doncic, in the biggest moments of this basketball game. You give the Boston Celtics a lot of credit defensively, showing a lot of double teams in this basketball game, trying to get the ball out of Luka Doncic's hands to try and make others beat them. You saw that backfire against the Boston Celtics in the fourth quarter with Jalen Brunson's ability to shoot the ball from the three-point line, his ability to drive and make plays for his teammates. So that was a poison for the Boston Celtics that they experienced in the fourth quarter. And then when it came down to it, yes, two terrific defensive possessions by the Boston Celtics. It was just better shot making, incredible shot making by Luka Doncic, and that is why this young player, this young superstar, this potential MVP of this league for years to come is why the Mavericks are building their future around him, because in moments like this is where the value of Luka Doncic comes in. When things break down, when things are not going well, especially in the fourth quarter as the Celtics were continuing to push their lead. Rick Carlisle talked about it post-game. Luka Doncic was the one in the huddles continuing to encourage his teammates, continuing to help them understand to stay locked into the moment. And even when the Celtics did take the lead, not buckling under the pressure, and Luka Doncic shouldering that pressure himself to make sure that his team would not walk out of the American Airlines Center without a win in the win column. And that's exactly what Luka Doncic was able to do. This was a team in the Dallas Mavericks that went 13 of 33 from the three-point line, 39% clip as far as that was concerned, 13 of 15 from the free throw line, shooting nearly 87% from the free throw line. This is a team that also shot over 47% from the field. So a good back-and-forth basketball game, both teams playing well on both ends of the floor. You knew that the Boston Celtics were going to come in as an angry basketball team, a team who had blown a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter against the New Orleans Pelicans, were able to overcome a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter in this game against the Dallas Mavericks, but at the same time victimized by another superstar, Zion Williamson, the first time in New Orleans, this time on the road once again to Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. And a signature win for a team that has now put themselves in position. They are now 9th in the Western Conference, slowly but surely continuing to climb up the Western Conference standings. This is a team right now. It's 2.5 games out of the 6th seed where the San Antonio Spurs currently are. So as you can see, yes, the major questions about Kristaps Porzingis and his health with the lower back tightness. Dorian Finney-Smith has not been shooting the ball well from the three-point line. Yes, Maxi Kleber out with the left ankle sprain, but you saw the contributions from a Boban Marjanovic who came in and played well in spot minutes tonight, provided them energy and scoring inside. Luka Doncic obviously making the plays for his teammates. James Johnson, Josh Richardson, Tim Hardaway Jr., and obviously the captain of the Stay Ready All-Stars, Jalen Brunson, all contributing, and you needed that balanced scoring and that effort on both ends of the floor. Guys like Jalen Brunson taking charges, guys like Luka Doncic creating steals. This was a total team win led by their superstar Luka Doncic with the 31 points that he had, which is obviously extremely important for this team continuing to go forward to ensure that they're getting help from each and every person contributing, especially not knowing the health status of Kristaps Porzingis going forward. They are off on Wednesday before traveling on the road to take on the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets, and also the Orlando Magic before returning home to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder to close out the first half of this season for the Dallas Mavericks, who, of course, they are playing 72 games this year. They have played now 30 games in the first half so far in this season. But an important win, their 6th win in their last 7 games to get to 15-15 on the season. You saw this team, it was a pretty even game back and forth, especially when you start going through some of the numbers in this basketball game. Rebounding, yes, the Mavericks got out-rebounded 46-38, which has been a constant problem for them this season. And obviously it's missed when a guy like Kristaps Porzingis is out. But all the things that have swirled around this team over the last 24, 48 hours with the Kristaps Porzingis rumors from the Bleacher Report bombshell, obviously the things concerning Kristaps Porzingis defensively and how poor he has been, this is a team that blocked out all the noise and ensured they walked out of the American Airlines Center with an important win as they get ready to go on the road for 3 critical basketball games against 3 very talented teams, especially Brooklyn and Philadelphia, where they will see the likes of Kevin Durant, with the likes of Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and obviously league MVP frontrunner right now, Joel Embiid, who's been absolutely sensational for the Philadelphia 76ers. So a tough road ahead for the Dallas Mavericks, but at the same time, a really nice win, especially knowing that Luka Doncic and his incredible shot making was able to bail out the Dallas Mavericks in the end of this basketball game and really give them the signature win that they needed before they head on the road. The Dallas Mavericks, 6 wins in their last 7 games, 15-15 now on the season, an even 500 after Luka Doncic down the stretch hits 2 absolute daggers to make the Boston Celtics disappear. Luka Magic strikes inside the American Airlines Center. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe by hitting that subscribe button right there here at Kevin Gray Sports. And you can catch me on the weekends on 105.3 The Fan, your home of the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers. This has been The Gray Area. We'll talk to you later. Peace.